Welcome to Inside the Paint, an inside look into all of the action of the British Basketball League. It's a new year and we're tipping it off in style with the first piece of silverware of the season. It's the trophy competition. So make sure to like, share and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of the action. I'm Jeanette Kwakye. I'm joined by two league legends, Ovie Soko and Mike Tuck. How excited are you for the trophy? No league, just trophy, Ovie.
Yeah, the trophy's exciting. It's a chance to win some silverware middle of the season. I feel like it gives a revived lease of energy to all the players, everyone around the league, and to the fans as well. You know, if your team hasn't been doing well, tune in, they got a chance.
Do you know what? It's just like a fresh slate, isn't it? You can just go for it. You don't have to think about the league for a bit, just a trophy. It just gives you an opportunity.
That's exactly it. You know, it breaks up the monotony of the season. You know, you have 4 games in here. Win those games, you get a chance to go to Birmingham. And you know, the table doesn't matter in this situation, right? Yeah. You can just look at it, doesn't matter where you're at in the table, you can just go out there and play.
I'm looking forward to seeing how this unfolds, and we will chat more about the trophy in just a moment. But first, we had the results for the Molten Player of the Month and the Molten Kevin Cadle Coach of the Month. Ovie, will you take it away? You've got the Coach of the Month, haven't you? Let's have a listen to what you're going to say.
In third place, from the Leicester Riders, we have Rob Paternostra with 25.3%. And the last two was interesting. It was only separated by 1 vote. So in second place, Gareth Murray with 37.3% of the votes. And the winner this month is Petra Bozic from London Lions with 37.4% of the votes.
Well, congratulations to Petra for that result. And then, Mike, you've got the player, haven't you?
I do indeed. So in third place, we have Clifton Moore Jr. with 20.7% of the vote. In second place, Evan Walsh with 22.3% of the vote. And in first place, Teddy Buckets, Teddy Allen with 40.6% of the vote.
Do you know, we've been really blown away by Teddy Allen, or Teddy Buckets, we're calling him. Deserved? This is clearly a fan favourite.
I mean, yeah, he's only 4 games in the league.
Yeah.
Obviously, he got 1 more game now playing a trophy game. So 5 games in, he's already taken home a Player of the Month award. That's impressive. But I think out of any player coming into the league, fresh start, mid-season, this guy's been as impressive as anybody we've ever seen coming into this league.
It's crazy impact.
Exciting, dynamic player to watch.
Really, really much so. And what about you, Ovie? What do you think of Teddy Allen?
I feel like 5 games in, lock him in for the All-Star game. I want to see him. I want to see him play. I want to see him play more. I mean, just to piggyback on what was just said, look, I've joined the team late. I've joined the team late in the season, and it's so difficult trying to work your way in. Everyone's already got their best friends. Everyone's already formed their little groups. And to work your way into that on and off the court, it's very difficult.
Yeah.
So what he's done is really, really impressive.
Well, long may it continue. Let's see how he impacts the Leicester Riders squad. Well, this Friday night, Newcastle hosted the Manchester Giants for the Eagles' second trophy game. Let's take a look at what happened. It was 24 hours after losing on the road. The Eagles had a point to prove. Jordan Johnson and Larry Austin Jr. finding it in their legs to contribute to a 7-point lead in the first quarter. But William Lee and the Giants were not giving this away. However, the Eagles took advantage of steals and fast breaks to keep this close, and a controversial buzzer beater made it a 1-point game at the end of the first half. Into the second and step forward again, Larry Austin Jr., a maestro, and Jordan Johnson with back-to-back 3 points, and the pendulum swung to the northeast and the Eagles soared. They know about this competition more than anyone else, and it showed. 1 point at the break, but 97-78 at the whistle. What a game from them. And it was a game, wasn't it? They really had to show resolve, Newcastle. They're tired, Mike. You know, really back-to-back games, it's not easy.
No, it's definitely not. Not within a 24-hour swing, especially a big trip to London and back. But, you know, you got to have to tip your hat to Newcastle. They really showed some heart there, coming through, some mental toughness. And I think that first half, really, Larry Austin Jr. was the one who really kind of sparked them off the bench there. He kind of got them going in that first quarter, really carried them through. And then that third quarter from Jordan Johnson really sealed the deal for them. Both players stepping up. They didn't even look tired out there. What's going on?
They didn't look tired.
Are in fine form right now.
I mean, Larry Austin Jr. got player of the game, but a word on Jordan Johnson. I mean, 15 points the night before, 30 points this evening as well. Wow, from him. 45 points in total. Have you got a back-to-back score?
A back-to-back what?
Yeah. Have you got back-to-back stats like that?
I don't think I do. I mean, you know, I wasn't a scorer, but,
Yeah.
you know, whenever I do see a prolific scorer, someone who makes it look so easy, I'm always really impressed. You know, it was always a lot more difficult for myself. I had to find ways to score, but he can score from all over the place. I feel like at his height also, it just makes it all the more impressive. His stature, he obviously extends his game far behind the three-point line, but he also finishes around the basket. He has a high basketball IQ. He puts on display often for us, so we're getting used to it, but, you know, it is a treat to watch.
Absolutely. I hope that Newcastle team getting into their ice baths. Very important for the recovery. There's a lot going on this month. And on Thursday night, the London Lions, and like we say, the Newcastle Eagles, they kicked off the trophy tournament. It was Dan Routledge and Rob Paternostro who had more on that one.
Well, thank you very much, Jeanette. Well, it was 99-77 here, which sounds like a comfortable win for London, but for a long stage of this game, it was very tight, Rob.
It was. That first half, you know, London a little bit worried. To give Newcastle credit, they came out, had that lead, but, you know, the fatigue set in, and London was able to take advantage of their size over the Newcastle Eagles with a lot of easy finishes at the basket.
Yeah, Olasheni inside caused them all sorts of problems, but Luke Nelson was excellent, particularly when Jordan Taylor went down and he had to dominate the point guard position.
Yeah, and that's what you like about Luke. You know, he can play the off guard, he can come off screens, but I think he's done such a nice job this year when he's had to play that point position. Here you see him finding easy buckets underneath, but I loved his passing from the backcourt tonight. That was good, and we all know that if he gets that look from the three-point line, he can knock it down.
And for Newcastle, a good, hard performance, but they just ran out of players at the end.
Yeah, you feel for them a little bit with the numbers that they went down, and the effort was there. But I think when they got to that middle of that fourth quarter, they knew it was gone, and their attention has to turn to the next night because obviously a tough game coming back.
Thanks a lot, Rob. Back to you, Jeanette.
Thank you very much to the guys. They're having a good time watching that one. Two other games have tipped off this Friday, starting with the Leicester Riders hosting the Bristol Flyers, where the Riders won with a final score of 95-74. The other game to tip off was a rematch of last year's trophy final as the Caledonia Gladiators hosted the Cheshire Phoenix. Josh Bett and Jordan Taylor called that one.
Well, thank you very much, Jeanette and JT. What a game it was. A rematch of last season's final in the trophy. It was like a roller coaster. One team builds the lead, the other one comes back. You didn't know who was going to take the win.
It was a really exciting match, just like we thought it was going to be. These teams have been in lockstep, like we talked about, for the last year and a half. You know, they played each other in the playoffs last year in the trophy. Cheshire came out in the playoffs, Caledonia in the trophy. And it was just really exciting, just everything we could dream of.
Well, you know, one player you got to talk about, the player of the game, LaQuincy Rideau. This guy was terrific. He stepped up at the big time, double-double time, near triple-double for that matter.
Normally his thing is defense. He leads the league in steals. Tonight, it was everything. You know, when they needed a bucket late in the game, it was get him the ball, play one-on-one, get in the paint. That's such a tough finish. Getting on balance after sidestepping like that is such a tough thing to do as a guard. You know, he had a tough spot late in regulation. He had about 3 turnovers in a minute, but he recovered, got his team together, got himself together, made every big play for the Phoenix.
Now, of course, the Phoenix lost last season's final. They won it the year before against your London Lions. What is the future for this team?
You know, I think the sky's the limit for them. When they share the ball, when they get up and down, and they play up and down, they can do anything, and I expect to see them make a run late in the season.
Well, back to you, Jeanette.
Josh and Jordan, thank you. But let's take a look at the two groups in the tournament. Group A is made up of Sheffield, Caledonia, Cheshire, Plymouth and Surrey. And Group B has London, Bristol, Leicester, Manchester and Newcastle. Remember, these groups are randomly selected. And Ovie, who do you think has a chance here to make it through to the semis in Group A?
I feel like Cheshire and the Gladiators, they're the obvious two. But I feel like Surrey, they're the dark horse in that group. I feel like Surrey is a team that a lot of people overlook, obviously. They're not that high in the standings, but they've had a surprising amount of close games. So I feel like in a situation like this, where it's all 0-0 level across the board, they got an opportunity to do something.
Nothing to lose there, is there, really? What about for you in Group B, Mike?
In Group B, obviously, you have to look at the London Lions. You know, they've been the steadiest team throughout the season, and I think they, you know, really came out in that first game against Newcastle, laid out a statement game. But another team that had a statement game in their first outing, the Leicester Riders with Teddy Buckets. Big 20-point win over the Bristol Flyers. I'm looking at this Leicester Riders team now, and I'm thinking, they've turned a new page
They
here.
have.
They're looking pretty good to maybe be that second group coming out of the Group B.
Well, it's going to be exciting. I'm so excited to see who actually is going to push this on and move forward. Remember that those semi-finals and finals end of January, so make sure you mark your card. We have 3 more games this weekend, starting with the Surrey Scorchers hosting the Sheffield Sharks on Saturday. And the exciting thing about the trophy is that it's for a fresh start for teams, like we said, who haven't had the best results so far in the regular season. And Mike, the Sharks have beaten Surrey before, but anything can happen in the trophy. What will Sheffield have to focus on really to get their first win here?
I think they need to lock in, like just piggybacking off what Ovie said. Surrey is a team that they're probably not as good as what their record shows. They're a lot better than what their record shows, sorry. The Sharks have beat them twice before, both in close games, once down at the Surrey Sports Park in an overtime thriller. The Sharks are just going to really have to lock in defensively. We know that that's their strength, you know, stopping the ball, getting stops in the half court, controlling the offensive boards. I think that's what they got to do. Offensively, they got to keep finding rhythm and flow. Last game, obviously, Pipkins, Jabril Adekoyo, RJ Edelrock out. So some injuries along the way, but we're looking at that the roster should be a little bit more strengthened come time on Saturday.
You've already given them some love, but for Surrey, what are they going to have to do to be able to turn a corner against a Sheffield Shark?
I feel like mentally they need to clear their minds and understand that this is an opportunity and everything is 0-0 across the board. You know, they're not looking at the mountain of trying to climb the league table in the championship. And now it's a situation where, okay, just take it one game at a time, one possession at a time. And if they do that, I feel like they give themselves good chances to win. They've been in a lot of close games with a lot of the better teams in the league. So, yeah, that's what they need to do, in my opinion.
Should be a good game. And on Sunday, we have 2 games in store for you, starting with Leicester, travelling to the Copper Box to face off against the London Lions. We're joined by a commentary dream team, Todd Harris and Azania Stewart. And Azania, neither of these teams have won the trophy in the past 3 seasons. Could this be the year that they come back and take that win?
Well, Jeanette, I think you have a point. You've already spoken about the man himself, Teddy Buckets, the player of the month. Not only did he just drop 30 points versus Bristol in that win, but they're looking very, very good, especially with Rob Paternostro. I know he's a happy man. But do they have enough for their Giants, for the London? They've got who I love, Josh Sharma, and then Gabe. Those are 2 big bodies that I don't know if they have answers for.
Yeah, Gabe Olasheni's had a great month as well. I think the big question, though, is, and I'll ask this to you, what does London put on the court? Because if they're fully healthy, that is one of the toughest teams to play in the Euro Cup, in the British Basketball League, whatever. But they have been hit with the injuries, so who steps up for them? Yeah,
they're banged up. You know, I'm hearing some new players are coming up and stepping up, but they just know how to get it done. But guess what? They're against the coach of the month with Coach Bozic. So I always, I'm a London Lion at heart, so I'm going to go with them. But I think it's going to be a thriller.
All right, and last question to you. If you're the London Lions, do you focus your entire attention on Teddy Buckets? Do you shut down Buckets and then you're good to go?
I think so. If I was them, I would trap him. I would make sure you get the ball out of his hands, make somebody else have to score the ball. But right now, he is killing it. And Ovie, you're right. We need to see him in the All-Star game.
And in Group B, don't forget about the Bristol Flyers. Just putting that one out there for you, Jeanette.
Oh, interesting call there from Todd. And as always, a massive thank you to him and to Azania. The final game of the week will see the Caledonia Gladiators make the long journey down south to take on Plymouth City Patriots after their loss against Cheshire. Now, over the last time these two met in the regular season, Plymouth secured the win. How can they replicate this?
I don't know with Plymouth. I don't know with those guys. Because, they come out and they beat the London Lions. They come out and, they beat teams where you don't really think they have a chance. I just feel like it's the mindset that they come out there with. But I really don't know what they can do. They're going to have to say a couple prayers.
And that inconsistency makes it quite hard then, doesn't it, for other teams to judge?
It makes it hard for other teams to judge. It makes it more difficult for the coaches to coach. Because there's one thing that is extremely difficult for teammates or anything, is inconsistency. And that's what we see with Plymouth in abundance.
Yeah.
They have inconsistency across the board. But when they're good, they're extremely tough.
Yeah.
They're extremely tough. But when they're bad, ooh, they're bad.
They're bad indeed. Just a quick one in terms of Caledonia. They won that trophy last year in great style as well. How much is it going to mean to them to try and want to win that back and defend that?
Yeah, I mean, it's huge. At the beginning of my career, I won back-to-back cups. So I have
big flex. Did you hear the flex? Did you hear the flex? Did you hear the flex? Sorry, everyone.
Whoops, I had to throw that in there. But I think for a club like Caledonia, who hadn't had a piece of silverware in so long, to watch them get there in such style, last second buzzer beater shot, for them to have that feeling, there's going to be a bunch of guys on that bench that knows what that feeling is. They're going to be in the locker room talking about that feeling. The new guys are going to be seeing all the clips from last season. They're going to want to get there. So great start from them in beating Cheshire. The first step is there. I think, now it's just game by game, step by step. Caledonia look like they're ready.
Let's see how they get on. It's going to be a busier weekend in the trophy competition, but let's look at some of these results and fixtures that have already happened and that are to come. So yesterday, Thursday, the London Lions 99-77, taking that win against the Newcastle Eagles. And then Friday night, it was Leicester Riders 95-74 against the Bristol Flyers. Caledonia Gladiators against the Cheshire Phoenix. Look at that. They lost that game 100-97 after overtime. And then the Newcastle Eagles taking the win against the Manchester Giants this evening, 92-78. And then on Saturday, Surrey Scorchers up against the Sheffield Sharks at 5 o'clock in Group A. And then in Group B, it's Sunday, London Lions against the Leicester Riders at 3 o'clock. And then bouncing back to Group A, as we've just spoken about, the Plymouth City Patriots against the Caledonia Gladiators at 6 p.m. All of those available on our YouTube channel. Well, that's all from us this week. Drop us a comment below by letting us know what you think. Who's going to make it to that trophy final? Remember, January the 28th. That is the date for you. And make sure to like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of the unbeatable action. And it's goodbye for now.